Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, it's good to see you again. Thanks for sitting here. Your predecessor, Janet Yellen, pushed Congress for the last 4 years to adopt the OECD global tax deal. I'm grateful that you and the administration have been working to stop this. There's a lot going on in that space. And as the current global tax deal is formulated, U.S. multinationals are disadvantaged in two critical ways. First, they face two layers of minimum taxes, the existing robust U.S. system and the emerging OECD system. And two, their traditional income-based tax incentives face stricter scrutiny against the corporate welfare regimes in China and the EU. The global tax deal fosters a kind of a Hunger Games style race for government handouts, cash subsidies, and refundable tax credits. The system rewards political connections and authoritarian regimes over innovation. And Mr. Secretary, as you know, countries are pressuring the U.S. to sign on to the global tax deal and want to push subsidies out of the income tax system into the hands of bureaucrats, distorting markets, picking winners and losers, and leaving their taxpayers footing the bill for political pet projects with dismal economic results. If other nations want to tie their economies in knots with that nonsense, that's their funeral. The U.S. should not play the role of global nanny, dictating domestic policy to sovereign states. Countries around the world are free to determine a domestic policy that meets their political and economic demands, but not at the expense of the U.S. taxpayer and our great U.S. companies. My concern, Mr. Secretary, is that there is an on and off switch associated with the implementation of this global tax deal. A lot of uncertainty of what's happening after your time in office and the President's time in office. The tax sovereignty of this nation is under attack. The last administration gave away U.S. leverage trying to sell the jurisdiction and purview of this committee to the OECD in Paris. And we must not let that happen. The global tax deal isn't just a friendly suggestion, it's a loaded gun aimed at countries that don't join the cabal. I, for one, don't want the U.S. to be looking at the end of their loaded gun under the next administration or the one after that. Mr. Secretary, will you commit to working with us to put a nail in this coffin on the global tax deal once and for all?
My staff met with the OECD in Paris just last week, and we are pushing back and working toward a solution as soon as possible, Congressman.
Thank you for your work on that. And then one last thing. The current tax code has certainly been biased against investments and structures, and I've been working on this issue for a number of years since I've been on the Ways and Means, including a bill I introduced that implements a neutral cost recovery for structures. While we should continue to do more in this space to drive down the cost of investment in structures, and I know that's part of the big plan to get manufacturing back here quickly, I'm happy that we're moving in this right direction. And long depreciation schedules, as you know and as you've worked on, erode the value of deductions, hindering growth in our domestic manufacturing. The provision that we included in the big one, beautiful bill that allowed full expensing of factories coupled with restoration of 100% expensing for equipment and machinery will be crucial for the President Trump's agenda to boost American manufacturing. We're hearing a lot of great things about that. Mr. Secretary, I want to reiterate my thanks, certainly the Republican Party's thanks for your immense support in this provision to implement full expensing of factories. And I'd like to yield the rest of my time to you to just talk about why that is so important to move quickly on this to get it done and what it's going to do for our economy.
Congressman, it provides great surety, but more than that, it provides the impetus for businesses to make capital allocation very quickly, and in a way, it puts us on an even playing field with the countries that heavily subsidize their industry. In the United States, we try not to, some administrations, like the past one, try to pick winners and losers. We do not. We try to set the best playing field and create the best environment. So the surety of immediate expensing is very powerful in terms of after-tax return on capital. After-tax return on capital is what drives this economy, it is what drives productivity, and it is what makes the United States the greatest economy in the world.
Mr. Secretary, again, thank you for being here. Appreciate your words, and I yield back.